Hey there, I'm Justin Johnson Cortez. I play Kai on the Netflix series Ransom Canyon, and you might also recognize me as Detective Luna from the TV show Walker. Today, I'm honored to be reading a story to you all. It is the third place finalist in the high school category for the Wild Beauty Foundation's annual creative writing contest, with the theme of The Worth of Wildness. The story is written by Annabella Gibbons, 14 years old, from Ellwood City, Pennsylvania. And it's called Wild as the Wind and Dark as the Shadows. It was a blazingly hot morning in Nevada. The sandy hills and plains provided little shade from the intense sun, and the humid air clung to the animals and humans alike, like a soggy blanket. Nix felt none of this. The 14-year-old blue roan was dozing in her stall in her barn. The fan turned on, her hair clipped short by the humans that rode her around the ranch on cooler days. Nix nearly slipped off into sleep. But a sudden roar of helicopters overhead tore her sleepiness apart like a knife through paperwood. The young bay gelding across the aisle whinnied in terror. Half rearing in his stall, Nix waffled reassuringly. "Calm. There's nothing to fear from the metal birds." "Fear," the gelding Axel snorted in response, along with a jumble of different messages. Terror, running, blood, lost, fear. Nix waited until he had calmed, then turned back to her haylage net. It was too hot today to go graze. Axel would soon learn his place, she decided. After all, there's nothing bad here, nothing to fear. At least she assumed Axel was his name. That is what the humans called him when they brought him outside for his lessons on wearing a saddle. Just like she assumed Nix was her name. But a hazy memory came back to her. Another name. Chev. Nix shook her head, sending her short red mane flying. The humans called her Nix, therefore her name was Nix. The humans were always right. Nix had learned this many years ago at the hands of the Mr. Thorny, head of the ranch. He was the one who had showed Nix how to live. She always obeyed him, why shouldn't she? When she did, there were cookies and grazing and other good things. There couldn't possibly be anything better, Nix decided, then began to think on how to convey this to Axel. Then another sound sliced through the air. Helicopters and hoofbeats. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Nix flicked her ears back to try to block out the noise. Hoofbeats were nothing strange. When the Mr. Thorny's daughter, Alice, took her to shows, it was a constant sound. Nix did wonder where they were coming from, though. It must be a very big show. Axel also heard the noise and screamed, ears back and hooves flying, as he whirled in his stall. Nix trotted in place anxiously, trying to figure out how to make him stop. His screaming and the hoofbeats were searing through her brain. The hoofbeats were louder now, almost strong enough to shake the ground. Helicopters whirred and roared. Then they all just stopped. Far-off neighs, not happy ones, replaced them. Nix's headache eased, but Axel wouldn't stop. "Fear," he cried, "help!" One strong hoof smashed into his stall door, denting the metal. "Stop," Nix pleaded. "We're safe. Happy." Then the Thornies burst into the stable. "Whoa, Axel," the Mr. Thorny yelled, then clapped his hands together, emitting an ear-splitting crack. Axel stopped rearing, but still pranced around, nostrils flared and eyes wide. Nix and Alice watched as the Mr. Thorny gently approached the gelding, palms up, speaking softly, until Axel calmed enough for a halter to be slid onto him. "I'll take him for some long line work," the Mr. Thorny announced. "He's just excited." "Nix isn't scared anymore. Come on, good girl," said Alice. A skinny girl with shiny hay-colored hair slipped Nix a peppermint and haltered her. Nix excitedly followed her out to the field to work on their trick training. But the distant, terrified whinnies never left her mind. During the slightly cooler night, Nix awoke to the soft squeaks of the lock on Axel's door. "What are you doing?" she whimpered, concernedly pinning her ears. "The mister will be mad. The mister is a cruel-hearted human, like them all," Axel snorted, his rubbery lips working furiously at the lock. With a click, the door slid open, and Axel trotted out triumphantly, then quickly unlatched her door. "Quick, you could come too. Back to the wild. And freedom." "Why would I do that?" Nix waffled indignantly. "I belong here." No, Axel snorted that in contempt. "We belong free on the plains and hills, running with the wind, searching for water and letting our coats grow long. It's our right. And you definitely don't belong here. Can't you tell? You're a Mustang, JaVale." A memory flashed back to Nix. Or was it JaVale? The names both felt right. Her mind conjured up a large black mare galloping beside her, getting torn away. That did it. "I'm just going to see what all the whinnying from earlier was," Nix assured Axel. "Then I'm coming back." "Suit yourself," whinnied Axel, already loping away. "My band is always open to you." Nix took off towards the large barn in the distance, with miles of fencing and blurry shapes around it. Wind blew in her mane, earth thudded under her hooves. She was unstoppable. She was forced to slow by the fence, where a small group of horses approached her. They were ragged, sweaty, one with a bloody patch on its flank. "Free one," a chestnut mare with a ragged coat and wild eyes called. "Leave this place of suffering and death, quickly." Nix surveyed the area. Miles of fencing contained hundreds of mustangs. They stood in filthy mud, clustered around piles of old hay, and drank from a small, odd-smelling stream. Fillies and colts huddled under worried mares. A gray stallion anxiously craned his neck and ran in circles, searching for something and bugling angrily. "What is this place?" Nix asked in fear. "Humans drove us here," a black pony cried. "And metal birds. This is the place where we wait." "For what?" Nix asked, afraid to hear the answer. "To be killed," the chestnut whinnied quietly, "or sold and then maybe killed after that." Nix remembered a place like this. She had waited with her mother in a place like this. I was here, she put in happily, "and I got sent to a great human family." "You were lucky," the pony said darkly. "Our futures are mainly doomed." And the chestnut interrupted. "Your home may be nice, but how can it be complete? With total freedom, with no one locking you in a box, whipping you, telling you when to run and stop, with the wind constant grazing and your family by your side." Memories flooded Nix's mind. They were right. The human life was cruel brainwashing for free individuals, disguised. No wonder poor Axel had bolted. Panic flooded Nix then. "I have to get them out." "No, run," the chestnut argued, but Nix was moving down the fence line. She perked up, spotted a mere knot holding the gate shut. Today, Alice had taught Nix how to untie these. Nix worked at the knot until it fell away. Then the gate creaked open. The horses quietly surged through the gate, and half had escaped and were trotting quietly away when a light sliced through the darkness like a sword. Then a rough, manly voice. "Hey, Bill, Henry, the blasted horses are escaping." More men's voices, more lights. The herd swelled to a frenzied stampede, the stallions bringing up the rear and safeguarding older mares and mothers with foals. Nix spotted the men racing for their metal birds and rolling metal boxes. Though her every bone called for escape, she charged the men. They screamed as she bore down on them. One cracked a whip, but Nick sidestepped and kicked him, sending him flying. The other men, their self-perseverance kicking in, ran for the building, cursing and praying. Nick whirled and charged after the herd. She quickly caught up, and they ran for miles and miles. The stars and moon showed them a path. The terrain ripped under their hooves. Eventually, they stopped under a group of pines with a deep watering hole. Nix quickly drank the water, colder and fresher than any she'd had before. "Many deep thanks," an old black mare said. "You have saved our lives." Nix drew in a deep breath, looking into the mare's green-flecked eyes. "Mother, you have lived up to your namesake, Travail," said the mare. Spirit warrior. Now you may join our band and experience true freedom." Nix, no, Travail now, nuzzled her mother. "I'm sorry, but I cannot. I must return to my stall and my humans. That way I can save more of our kind when the next herd gets imprisoned." Travail's mother nickered in disappointment. "I understand. You will run free with us one day, my brave little one." After one last nuzzle, Travail took off back over the plains, away from her freedom, her herd, and back to her tiny box she had so foolishly called home. "I'll be back someday," she called back, her warrior's cry carried on the wild winds and lifted up to the stars. 4 years later, the holding facility next to the Thorny's ranch closed for good due to unmanageable attacks from the Red Shadow. Afterwards, Travail and her new foal, a filly as black as night with green-flecked eyes, escaped into the night. Travail was one with the stars, wind, and night for the rest of eternity. Wow, that was a beautiful story, Annabella. Thank you so much for using your creativity to protect wild horses. I'm so honored to join you and stand with wild horses.